Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Pisces. If Pisces is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. And we can hear TT's already meowing. All right, let's get started. So we have tonight the Hermit card. Okay, and let's go ahead and see what these tea leaves have to say. And I'm sorry, poor TT, I feel bad. We've moved studios, and I say we, shout out to Dove and Serpentero. That's my husband over there. Go check him out. And I haven't been letting her in my new studio because I'm just not like, I don't know, I just haven't like gotten super comfortable in it yet. So I'm just waiting to let the cats kind of come in and make their space, get their little area in here. So she hears me start and she gets upset. All right, so let's go ahead. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. We have a 12 here. Where's my stick? There it is. We have a 1 and a 2, a 12. We have the Fool right up here. You can see with his little hat. And let's see, what else is going on up there? We have the Fool. We have, it looks like the face of an older person. You can see kind of looking off to this direction to your right, wearing glasses, a nose, kind of the chin sticking out here. Not looking super excited about things. Let's see, what else? Now, it looks like maybe we have a person, it looks like a person kneeling, and then we have a child kneeling, kind of holding hands together there. I almost imagine praying together. So let's go ahead and take a look at kind of what this might mean. So, it feels like almost these stages of life to me. We have the family period. We have the period of childhood, right? And I feel like it's almost the sense of having a really kind of close relationship with your caretakers, your parents, your grandparents, auntie, uncle, if you maybe were adopted or whoever it was, right? Somebody who took care of you. And I feel like they were maybe a religious person. Doesn't have to be necessarily religion. They could have been spiritual or, you know, kind of in tune, right? But I do feel like there was a sense of kind of a shared faith in some way, kind of guiding you through these years, these early, very formative years, right? Where we kind of, our brains are taking in so much information. We're learning, we are making connections. Everything is kind of being built at this time. And I feel that, you know, maybe you probably had a pretty, you know, decent, okay childhood. Maybe it was a wonderful one. I don't see that it was necessarily terrible. Okay, that's not to say you didn't have hard things going on, right? We've all had stuff happen in our childhood that was painful or even traumatic. But I feel that this is at least one person that you trusted, that you felt comfortable being close with, and I think that kind of safety in your early years really, it helped you have kind of an attachment style later on, right? that was pretty healthy. And I feel like you have pretty good relationships. Now, I'm not, you keep hearing me say pretty good, okay. You know, I feel like there's always, what is it? I feel like that you maybe are a little resistant sometimes. Maybe you have good relationships with the people that you kind of let into your personal life, right? But it's very few people, and we have that hermit energy. So that's what that kind of tells me, is that you're a person that doesn't need a ton of people. You don't need to know a lot of people. You aren't really interested in like really populating your life. You don't need a lot of friends and acquaintances and all of this kind of thing. You have your few people, and those are the relationships that you focus on. Everything else is kind of like, yeah, pretty good, but it's not necessarily that important to you. Now, we have this kind of full energy here. We also have what looks like maybe the moon close to the face, okay? And so, you know, I feel like to some degree you have been in this middle place of your life where at times I think you've wanted to just walk away from society, right? This urge to just kind of relinquish all of the what is the word? Relinquish all of the constraints of kind of social conditioning, playing your roles, and just not super interested in doing the thing that you're supposed to do, or what we are kind of conditioned to believe that we're supposed to do. You have always gone your own way, you know, and I think part of that is that you did grow up in a consistent environment, safe relationships, and there's always a sense of being loved. And so you felt pretty comfortable kind of packing your bag and going out the door and you know, seeing the world. Maybe, you know, you've traveled to different continents and you know, different countries and places all over the place. Or maybe, you know, you just moved to college or another town and, you know, you've done a little bit of traveling. But whatever it is, I feel that you were ready to have your own life. You were ready to have your own experiences outside of the context of who you were as a member of a family or a community, right? And I think this has really given you the ability to wander and experience a little bit in your life on your path here. Now, I also think that this maybe has at times been something you lament a little bit, because although you have done things for work that feel meaningful to you, I think that at times you look at other people's lives and you think, I wish I could have just kind of, you know, buckled down and picked a career and, you know, did the thing and maybe made some resources and put something away. And I think this is something that sometimes, yeah, there's some anxiety rising about this. And, you know, the reality is, I think, anyways, what I gather from, you know, my limited view of the world, or my limited experience of the world, right? But, you know, I think a lot of people, including myself, you know, we're always going to find reasons to think, oh, I could have done better, right? Or, you know, plenty of people have done all the things that they were supposed to do. They did that checklist of the, you know, dream. You might not be in America, but we call it the American dream, right? And still end up in a place where either, yeah, they maybe have had some hardships and lost a lot of the money that they earned or created, or, you know, or it's that it took away the work that they had to do, took away from living, you know, not being available to be in the moment, to be there for all the things that, you know, the big events and the kids and the you know, rites of passage in life, and to, you know, maybe like buy a house but never get to really enjoy it because they're always working, and, you know, that kind of thing. And so, you know, it is all relative at the end of the day, right? So, you know, I'm not trying to say you should feel any other way than you do, but I will say that, you know, even from a young age, for some reason, I've always like kind of been a person that even people that I did not know very well, they would confide in me. And when I was, you know, when I was in my early 30s, this started happening a lot. There were people that I went to school with, went to high school with, went to college with, and they would reach out to me because, you know, it's around the time when people that were married young, they started getting divorced and, you know, going through these life changes and stuff. And what I found was that even people I didn't barely know in high school, but, you know, we were friends on social media, they had these big lives, right? Or at least it seemed like it. And I come from Northern California, so there's a real division of, you know, of money there. And yeah, I went to school with some people who ended up being pretty successful, but you know, still had problems. Just people I barely knew, right? Barely remembered, would reach out to me and talk to me about the things they were going through. And it left an impression on me that beneath all of the stuff and aesthetic and you know, all of the awards or all of the things that you did wrong, right? All the things that you did to mess up, and you know, the things that you feel shame and guilt for, we all have them. It doesn't matter, you know, it just absolutely doesn't. So, you know, I look at this and I look at the Fool and I think, you know, this is, it's not, if you've felt like you've missed out on certain things, or felt that like you should have taken things more seriously, or whatever it was, you know, I understand that, and those are valid feelings. I feel similar, right? But I also want you to challenge yourself to think, you know, look around in your life, and this isn't about comparing. It's not about comparing. It's about finding commonality. Okay, look around in your life and look at the people who, you know, seem to have it all. The people who, you know, really try to create an image of what's happening in their life. It's beautiful. Everything's perfect and clean and ironed and, you know, like, you know, an abundance of, but really look, you know, really look in their eyes, and you'll see we're all about the same to some degree. We really are. And we could really waste a lot of time lamenting you know, what we have done or what we haven't done. And in that time, we could be, you know, correcting that. We could be getting out there and trying stuff, doing the things that we wished we would do. You know, it's never too late. It's never too late. You know, the other thing I feel too is that I spent a lot of my life feeling like I'm too old to try something. Even when I was a kid, I remember getting into high school and I thought, well, I didn't do, you know, I wasn't in orchestra or band or whatever when I was in grade school, elementary school. And I was intimidated. I didn't want to start in high school because I felt like, okay, well, I missed my window here. I'm too old to begin. And I look back at that now and I think, gosh, that's terrible. That where did that come from? Right? Where does this come from? And so, you know, it really is that we do this a lot to ourselves, don't we? We do. And so, you know, it's never too late to begin. It's never too late to try something, you know, and you might find that you don't like it and you might find it like it's the best thing in the world. But, you know, it's always worth a try. Now, let's see, we have this older person over here. And I feel like this speaks to what I was just talking about. There's a sense of, you know, feeling like you've missed the boat. You were too late to show up at the train station. You know, everything has passed you by and you'll never be able to get to that place. And it's just not true. You know, maybe a particular moment has gone by, but that doesn't mean that you can't do this in another way. Okay, so let's all try. Let's all try to, you know, figure out how can we stop dooming ourselves in this way. Okay, now I want to look at, we have a Gemini and we also have a Leo up here. So I feel like you have a Gemini person. You also have a Leo person that seems like they're quite important in your life. And here again, we have little mists out there. So a Gemini person and a Leo person. And I'm interested to see if it kind of shows us a little more about that. We have a cat's face right here. You can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth. We have the home up here. I know, Titi. I'm gonna have to take her up to bed. Some in between readings here. Okay, so we also have, it looks like maybe a little horse. Okay, we also have, I almost wonder if they're donkeys, kind of, because we also have these over here. They look like donkeys to me. So I feel like, I almost feel like you come from, you know, a family of people that just absolutely, you all are very similar. Even, it just seems like, you know, almost like you meet a family of people and they all have like the same totem animal. Like they have the same kind of similar attributes. And there is a closeness here. There is a security in being so similar, but at the same time, I feel like, because we have these ones up here and then we have this one over here. So there is a bit of a separation there. I don't think that it really is anything anything that is, you know, there's not, I don't feel like it's a conflict, right? I don't feel like you've been alienated or anything like that. Kind of the black sheep of the family. No, I feel like it's more that you're just an independent person. You know, you're very close with everybody, but you also kind of just do your own thing. And you all seem to, I get this feeling of you carry a lot with you. And, you know, that's kind of on the nose with a pack animal, right? But, I'm thinking pack animals. That means a grouping of animals. I'm thinking of an animal that carries things, right? You can think of a mule or a donkey as being an animal that carries, you know, whatever, big bags of things. And so I think it's like you all internalize a lot of stuff, emotional maybe it's like you're empaths, maybe. I think that's what it might be. You're empaths, but you're very strong too. But I think the thing here is that there's almost kind of a melancholy. And I think it's less to do about your emotionality and a lot to do with the fact that you take in a lot of the ambient energy. I also feel like, I don't know, maybe there's like within the family, there's a real interest in things like the news, right? World affairs. Always kind of up on these things, talking about them, discussing them. And I think it just really, in some way, has created this energy of, it's not fear, but maybe being a little bit pessimistic or cynical about the world. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. But I feel like you almost kind of call yourself like a realist. I'm a realist, and my family, we're all realists. We don't believe in the fantasy of all of this or these things. But I think that sometimes, we can get into this place where, yeah, we do intellectualize a lot of stuff, but we're always looking for that kind of tragedy or something to kind of, I don't know, like one up each other with like the worst news you've heard. Does that make sense? Because it's like, I think, and believe me, I don't always watch the news. I go through long periods of time where I don't watch it at all or read it or anything. But I definitely am like one of those people. Like, I'll give you an example. Right now, I had just texted my friend because he is a fan of Drake, right? And there's this big thing, if you know anything about rap culture or whatever, there's this big beef going on. There's an argument between different artists, and there's a lot of news articles about it. And of course, I'm gonna send him, oh, did you see this one? Did you see this one? And so, we all kind of have our moments like that, right? And so, yeah, I wonder if that's kind of a dynamic that sometimes can be, I feel like, for you a little bit tiring. I feel like sometimes this is, part of like why you find yourself kind of out in your own world, doing your own thing, because you don't always, you get enough of it, right? You're just, okay, this is enough. And so, let's see, we also have the face right, right here. We have a nose, we have kind of the mouth here, the eye, the hair. And this one looks like an older person too, somebody who is maybe elderly. And I feel like this is maybe a grandmother. I'm looking. I kind of feel like this is maybe a grandmother that, I almost feel like this is somebody who had a pretty hard go of it, really had to go through it to get what she had, right? For the family, for her kids. And maybe worked a few jobs, maybe immigrated or, lived in poverty, just absolutely came from hardship and worked diligently, for better or worse, right? To try to get a little something for the family and sacrificed so much. And I feel like there's just this real emphasis on, this person, this ancestor, this elder of yours, gave everything of herself, right? And almost kind of when you really think about it, you know, often we think, oh yeah, well, my family worked really hard to get to where we are, and now, you know, we're, you know, doing okay, right? But you don't really think about it like deeply, you know. Like some of my ancestors on one side are Choctaw. I'm from the Choctaw tribe, and we were forcibly moved, right? There was the indigenous peoples, all of the mini tribes. There's a huge diaspora and genocide, of course, and I think about, you know, what it took for me to be right here, right now, for these people to survive. And it's hard to imagine. And a lot of times, I don't, you know, I say it, I don't think about it, not deeply. You know, and I find myself getting upset about things that are so frivolous, and you know, and so I'm not saying that you are somebody who is not thankful or grateful. I think that you are, but I think that times when we have these energies come through, and there's a love and there's a reminder, you know, of what it took for you to be what you are, who you are, in the flesh that you are in, we kind of have to humble ourselves a little bit. We have to think, you know, our lives are so meaningful, even if we don't always feel it or see it or know it, right? But they are. And I look at this and I feel like this is a woman who, maybe you knew her, maybe you didn't, but you know of her. And there are stories of her. And I even see a person standing over here holding maybe a spoon and, you know, feeding another person right here. Okay. And so I feel like there's just this, I mean, matriarchal, just powerful energy. And, you know, I think that it's something to meditate on. It's somebody to commune with. In the moments where you maybe feel like you can't go on anymore, you don't want to, that everything is too much, remember that you are walking hand in hand with this beautiful spirit. And she's there with you. Always. You know, and if you are somebody like myself, I try to honor my elders, and you know, there's a lot of tradition in the world of ancestor worship, and the honoring, the veneration of the really elevating these beautiful people who, you know, they live their lives as we live our life, and you know, they were not infallible or anything like that, but you know, they are the reason that we are, you know, and that means something. That definitely means something. It also is that you are loved, and that's important as well to know. Okay, let's see. So I almost feel like there is has been maybe a little bit of anxiety about financials. And I feel like part of this is why maybe you are in this mode of kind of detaching. I don't think that you like to necessarily dwell on the financial aspects of your life. Of course, you have to pay your bills and work and do all the things that we have to do. But I think that, you know, it feels like you've kind of always believed yourself to be a little bit unlucky in this place. And And I think it's something that, you know, I feel like it's really, it has limited your, I don't know, feeling like you can do things. I mean, try things. And maybe that's really, it is, you know, living in a place of not having enough or living in poverty. And I'm not saying you're living in poverty, but as somebody who has lived in poverty for most of my adult life, I understand how limiting that can be. I also understand, you know, what it is to have a family or responsibilities and feeling like you have to put those things first and not having maybe the security that you hope for, or, you know, you maybe perceive other people to have, and thinking, you know, it would be so much easier if I had just had the ability to make this money and, you know, and then I could do whatever I wanted, right? And so, you know, I feel like almost it's interesting because we did have that Fool energy. And often when I see the Fool, I think this is somebody who, if they have, you know, 2 cents, or if they have $1 million, they're going to make something happen. They're going to do what they want to do, you know. But I feel like this is one part where, you know, you kind of have shied away from just making that kind of leap of faith in some ways. You know, and I don't really have any advice about that, you know, but just that it is something that I think, you know, you're obviously aware of this, but it's something to think about. Like, you know, what if I just did the thing? What if I tried something, you know? What if I did, you know, use some of my money, or put some money aside, slowly build some money up so I could do whatever. Maybe you want to go on a trip, or, you know, you want to take up some kind of hobby, like painting or something. And you're thinking, you know, it's too expensive. Paints are expensive. Canvas is expensive. Well, you know, there are a lot of ways to paint, right? You know, I went to art school. It wasn't art school, but I went to school for arts, right? And I was getting into print or whatever. It doesn't, you know, it's an uninteresting story because I dropped out, and it was you know, whatever. So, but what I did learn through this, being around people who were studying different kinds of, you know, painting or film or whatever, is that you can make any of this stuff basically out of nothing, right? You can make pigments out of all kinds of things, natural, you know, dirt and berries, and, you know, it really, but so the point is, it comes down to being kind of innovative, right? So I don't think it's so much about that for you. It's just finding that thing to unlock the door in your mind, you know, to just allow yourself to have the freedom to try something else. And I feel like that is something that is rising in you. I feel like this is a time where, you know, you're getting to a point where it's like, I'm going to be brave. I'm going to be brave. I am going to take that leap of faith, Lenore. I'm going to try something new out, you know? And yes, I hope that you do. I hope that you do. And if you'd like to share about it, put it in the comments, because I'd love to hear. Absolutely. Okay, so you might have noticed there's a different deck of cards over here. These are oracle cards. They're called, these ones are bigger. I'm used to the little ones I have. The Wild Offering Oracle. And it says 52 card deck on giving it all to God. Now, when I decided to use these, I did not realize maybe they have some kind of religious connotation. Obviously, they have Ganesh on the back. So what was I try not to get too much into, although, you know, I do have often deities everywhere. But, you know, I just want a disclaimer, and I probably won't do this again, but I just want a disclaimer that, you know, we're just going to kind of take the message. It does not have to be applied to any kind of religious, spiritual, or anything in particular. No system. We have no affiliations here. I do not personally. So, you know, let's just try it out, because they are beautiful cards. And from the ones that I've read, they're nice messages. So anyways, I'm going to flip through, and I'm going to stop where it feels right. Okay, and it says, health. Allow me, divine, to be tender and accepting of my body, no matter what ailments I may have. May I always know it's doing the best that it can. Help me be a loving ally and friend to this sacred form. Yes, I like that. These cards are cool. Yeah, I like that message. Okay, Pisces, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you, because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. And it's free to subscribe. And if you would like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. I absolutely do. So with that, I will say happy new moon. It's the new moon. And I love you, and take care of yourself. We're going to talk in a few days. And good night.